Welcome everyone back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. We are 3 days away from Christmas, so there'll be one more upload for you all just before we get into the Christmas break. There'll be some pre-recorded content that we'll be churning out through on there to keep you entertained. But first and foremost, Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year. I hope we're all going to have a wonderful time, and I hope that it's filled with joy and a prosperous 2024. If you want to help me be prosperous, make sure you become a member of the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can go a step further and become a paid member of the channel. Link is in the description. That lots of exclusive content in 2024. We're really rebranding that, so stay tuned for that. Lots of in-depth secret shows, early releases, whatnot. So make sure you check that out if you are into your stats and into your inner workings of the AFL. But today we're going to look at 3 players from each team that I've got a keen eye on and why. And we start with Adelaide. Josh Rachele, a little bit down in 2023. I suspect he'll play a bit more midfield time this year. I think he's going to fly this year. I'm really hot on Adelaide, like are a lot of other people. I feel this is going to be a transition time, particularly for Rankine and Rachele. And I think Rachele, even though he was a little bit down last year, I feel like he's going to fly. And he is someone that I am super keen on seeing this year. Another guy is Danny Curtin. I feel like the transition from the back half of the ground with the way that Adelaide play is super exciting. And I feel like Dan Curtin slides into that so quickly. I feel like he's going to be an absolute jet. And I think he'll play early doors. And I feel like he'll dominate and really add another layer. Because obviously the player we've just mentioned, Josh Rachele, likes the ball at pace. Dan Curtin can provide that from the back half of the ground. And I think they're going to surprise a few people with just how good he is. And the next guy is Lachlan Gallant. He's kind of been in and out of the side, but I feel like there is a real place for him in the structure. And I feel like he's going to be a guy that just really surprised people with what he brings. I feel like the wing position, particularly the outside and half forward, is a position of real merit. And I feel like the big thing about Lachlan is his ability. People forget that he's a very good player, particularly strong defensively and runs both ways, and has got some decent pace for his size and intent. I feel like the wing position, the wide positions, the outside at Adelaide is the issue for me. And I feel like Gallant is going to really fly. Then we come to Brisbane. I think people forget about Will Ashcroft. He missed most of the year. He looked like he was flying at the start of the year. He'll be back at the part of this year, and I feel like he's going to be sensational. I just think he's got that Sam Walsh ability that I don't think injuries hinder him. I feel like he'll be working on his head space, the way he thinks about the game. He's a natural footballer, and I feel like that half a year, let's call it, 3/4 of a year off, will work for him in the terms that people will have forgotten him. So I think early doors, in the early games he plays, he's going to tear it apart. Another winger, we're big fans of wingers on this channel. I think Jasper Fletcher, I think people have forgotten him, and I was really hot on this kid in his draft year. I liked what I saw in the AFL. Feel like he's the modern day winger who's explosive, who can get forward and kick goals. Feel like Jasper is going to be a player that's going to be a big part of what Brisbane are building, particularly when they've got such a good inside mid combination. I feel like them guys on the outside are going to really fly, and I feel like Jasper is going to be one that I'm heavily looking at. And this might surprise a few people. They brought him in, Brandon Ryan. I feel like he is exactly what they need. I still question Hipwood as a permanent feature. I feel like he's kind of the baseline. I feel like Ryan's ability to pinch hit in the ruck, I feel like he could be the second target that really frees up Danaher. And whether they go a 3 forward structure, which I could see them going, I feel like there's merit in that. I feel like Brandon Ryan, I liked him at Hawks. I feel like he showed enough. He's going to be one that I'm going to keep a keen eye on. Over to my team, and I feel like Ashton Moyer is going to be big news at the Blues. I feel like he's someone that we're all taking an eye on and someone that we're all going to be focused on. Elite with both feet, makes things happen. Feel like the conduit between midfield and forward is probably Carlton's bugbear with the transition of the ground in the back half. Feel like Ashton is that man. I think he's going to play a lot of games for Carlton early doors, 15 plus minimum. And I feel like he's going to be the game changer. And I feel like the future half-forward combination for Carlton will be Elijah, Ashton and Jack Martin, which I feel is suddenly very potent. Zachy Williams next. We talk about the transition of the ground. Carlton have tried to fulfill this position with 3 players. Nick Newman being a lot more of a ball user. Jordan Boyd coming in for his kicking, and then Chincotta with his defensive craft. Zach Williams is better than all 3 of them at what they're attempting to do in his absence. This guy can play football, and from the 2 training games I've seen, this guy has got something else. He is something else, and people have forgotten about it. He has allowed Doc to go into the midfield. We've managed to finally get that going, even though he's been injured. This guy is what we're missing down the back with that potency. Him and Sard as a half-back combination are game-changing transition. I cannot wait to see this guy back. I think he will fly. And the final guy is Harry. People have forgotten about Harry. He's been a bit down this year. Fair play. But he still contributed, and I feel like people are going to sleep on this guy at their peril. A lot's been made of Charlie Curnow's final series, but people need to remember that if Charlie wasn't there, we wouldn't have even got there. I feel like Harry has basically had that whole 2 years in the first year of being on his own. He's seen he's got a combination now. He worked as a very good auxiliary. A lot of them goals when they played together that Charlie got were because Harry was there. I feel like you're going to see the best of Harry this year. I can't wait to see the big guy kicking snags for the Blues. Lockie Schultz straight away for Collingwood. Replacing Ginny, who is the master at finishing off the work other people start. This guy creates his own chances. I watch Fremantle a lot, and I feel like Lockie Schultz is very underrated at what he does. I feel like they've got Jamie Elliott 5 years ago in his prime. I think this is a very dangerous acquisition for Collingwood. For the other sides, this guy is goals, but he's also intent. He's also teamwork. He creates chances. I feel like Lockie Schultz is a real goer for Collingwood, and I can't wait to see him there. The other guy is Finn McRae, one of their young guys. I feel like this guy is going to really benefit in the absence of Taylor Adams. I don't think he's shy of playing up at half forward, and I don't think he's certainly not shy of playing on the ball and can go out on the wide. He's a very impressive player, is Finn McRae. And I'm really excited about seeing him play because he's going to get opportunities this year and we're going to start seeing a bit more youth coming in. And the forgotten man, I think, at Collingwood is Ash Johnson. And I really like their third tall setup. I feel like this is the year that we start to see something from Ash. I feel like he's been underutilised, maybe by his own fault. I feel like this year is go year for Ash. And he's one that I'm going to be really watching really intently because I feel like he's got everything you need at this level to be a very good player. He can kick goals. He can work really hard for a team. He offers that marking option. He's one I will be looking at. Essendon, a lot has been talked about them in the off-season. We take the piss, but Zach Reid is one of the guys that I am definitely looking at Essendon Football Club. Spent most of the year injured last year. This guy here has got some talent for me. Has got some talent for him. And I know we take the piss here at Essendon, but being utilised as a swingman at times, but more of a backman. I feel like they really need it. And I feel like the big thing about him is his interception ability and his ability in the aerial ball. He's definitely going to get opportunities now. Zerk Thatcher's left. And I'm intrigued to see what happens with him because he is an incredibly talented footballer and one who will get a lot of game time. Nate Caddy, for me, people say he's Jake Stringer. I think he's got a lot higher ceiling than Jake Stringer. And I'm very interested to see this midfield transition from him. This kid is special, can change games, and for me, he's very underrated and probably hasn't pegged it. I feel like every team needs that player that they can break glass in case of emergencies. It's probably early for him in year one, but I feel like you will see it as the year progresses. He'll start to be fed a little bit of pinch hitting mid-time, but he's so crafty and his ability to drag defenders will only help players like Peter Wright and co out. Very intrigued to see him. And the other one is Xavier Dersma. This guy here was probably the standout at Port when they did that wonderful draft with Rosie and Butters and kind of stagnated. Back in Melbourne now, playing on the wing. Feel like you're going to see something for him because that's the thing with Essendon. Feel like everyone is plug and play. They've got a bit of creativity now and a bit of something different. And it's going to be interesting to see how the combination of him and Status works because that will be a long-term goal for them. Fremantle, my boy Cooper Simpson. I'm really excited about seeing Cooper. I feel like he's everything they need and more. I think he'll play a hell of a lot of games when he's ready to play. And I think once he breaks in, he's a staple. I feel like you've got, I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but Nat Fyfe reincarnate here. I feel like he's the future. of Fremantle Football Club, an incredibly talented footballer who can kick goals and is also very mature. Tom Emmett is the other one. I feel like this guy is forgotten about, but I feel like Freo are in that formative area where an early 20s player that's played a lot of state football can slot in that forward half of the ground. Schultz has gone. Now, I'm not saying Tom Emmett is as good as Schultz, but from his state league performances a couple of years ago, this guy here has got something. And I feel like he will get a lot of game time and will surprise a few people. And Heath Chapman goes from strength to strength last year, and I think they need him. I feel like the Ryan combination down the back has been one thing. You're seeing Young go into the midfield. I feel like Chappers will be a big part of Fremantle this year and what they need to do. I feel like he's got everything you need to progress in this year, and I think he's in for a big year. GWS, I feel like you're going to see some names that you've maybe forgotten about. Finn Callaghan, I really like what Finn does. I feel like he's an incredibly hard worker. I feel like he's up and down the ground, defensively solid, also offensively solid. I feel like he's going to be a big part because I feel like for GWS to really progress, they've got to free up their key ball users. And I feel like Finn is one of them ingredients who works really hard that allows the others to slot in a more easier role to be on the end product. And I feel like Finn is going to have a big year and looks in ripping nick in pre-season. A guy that we've all forgotten about, Braden Bruce, and feel like he's going to be permanently there until he retires. I feel like this guy has got something very special about him, and he's someone that I'm really excited about seeing moving forward for GWS. I'm really excited about what the future holds for him, and if he can stay right, there is no doubt that with Matt Flynn leaving, this guy is the best ruckman on their list. An incredible ruckman. Just needs to stay right and get his head straight. I think big things. I think this is the year. And the other one, we haven't seen him yet, but Darcy Jones, the diminutive winger who can play down back and forward. Very, very versatile player. I feel like this is the year that we start seeing him. This kid was very impressive in the Waffle Under-18s, and I feel like there's something about him. The turn of pace, I feel like now's the year to release him, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. Old Geelong, and I feel like us and Mullin, he's becoming a cult hero already, isn't he? We do like us and Mullin. I feel like you're going to see him this year. Now that Tui is formulated more further up the ground, I feel like this guy is going to be a ready-made replacement. Real line-breaking speed, and I'm a big fan of what he is. And Sam de Koning, in and out of the side with injuries, there's no doubt that this guy is a supreme talent. I feel like this is the goal year for Sam de Koning, all Australian honours, all that type of malarkey. I feel like he's going to really take over that back half of the ground as the main man. And Jai Clark, people forget about Jai Clark. This kid can play footy. I'm really excited about seeing what we're going to see. I feel like you're going to see Geelong really focus heavily on a bit more feeding you through. I feel like Jai Clark will be the beneficiary. Gold Coast, my mate, Bailey Humphrey. I feel like this year is going to be a big year for him. And I'm expecting a Josh Rochelle type breakout year from a couple of years from him. I feel like he's really stabilised. He's showed glimpses of how talented he is. I feel like this year is going to be the year that he really showcases his wares, along with his mate Sam Flanders. Everyone has forgotten about these two players, and I feel like Flanders is really that type of player that dimmer rates. Real heavy work rate, real good execution. I feel like this year in the forward half of the ground, you're going to see Bailey and Sam fly another level. And Tuck Miller was quite down last year. Dimmer knows how to get the best out of these type of players. And I'm not saying a Dustin Martin type skill level. I feel like he's going to be utilised like that, though. I feel like you might see a little bit more forward half minutes from him, especially around them forward stoppages. His direct running patterns is something else. Hawthorn CJ. People have totally forgotten about him, and he hasn't been at his best. A lot is required of CJ if Hawthorn are going to go up to the next level. And there is no escaping this kid. He's incredibly talented. We know Sicily gets the kudos there, but CJ can pull teams apart himself. I'm really excited about seeing CJ's development this year. I think he was just a blip last year. And another Hawk I'm really excited about seeing is Mitch Lewis. Feel like he gets them injuries, doesn't he? He often has them nagging injuries as well. But incredible skill set, a real modern day key forward. He's got Chol there now, someone to take a bit of pressure off. Watch out for Mitch Lewis. He's in for a big one this year, mark my words. And Jack Ginnivan, new home, new colours, everything they need. Learning off probably one of the best half forwards in Jack Gunston. He's going to learn a little bit of defensive craft there and a little bit of teamwork, which I feel like is the only thing he lacks. X Factor, him and Nick Watson, X Factor up at Hawks. Hadj rewarding with the question marks over Clayton Oliver. This guy has often been named as the guy that's going to come and help him. I feel like Hadj is going to throw into it very early. They're going to really... I have question marks about Clayton Oliver, and I hope I'm wrong. I just feel like he's going to be in and out of that side, and I'm sending all my love to him and all the kindness that I can as one human being. But I feel like Hadj rewarding is going to be the guy that gets them opportunities, and it's got to be this year for Hadj. Real rambustious in that middle. He ain't scared. Great second and third efforts. He's a good little player. Max Gawn. Him and Brody didn't quite work, did it? But there's no doubt about his talent. People coming up on him now, Tim English, players like that. I think this is the year that you see Mr. Max Gawn remind everyone why he's the best in the league. Stay tuned for that. Trent Rivers. I love Trent, and I think this is the year that Trent really gets some kudos. Everyone focuses on Ed Langdon and players like that. Trent Rivers, his ability to go inside and out shouldn't be understated. An incredible runner and a real strong player. He's going to have a big year. My favourite player in the draft this year was Colby McCurcher. And I think everyone's going to see why I said that he was a potential number one and everyone forgot about him. Sheasel did incredibly well because of how he acquitted himself under Clarkson's system. Colby is the staple. I would say the most important player in a Clarko system is your Colby McCurcher. Sam Mitchell, for me, was Hawthorne in that time. His hard work and the fact you could put your hat on what he'd get. Colby McCurcher is that player. Stay tuned. Absolute jet. Tristan Jerry is up next. I really love Tristan, and I feel like this year he's really going to take that ruck role with no Todd Goldstein and run with it. An incredibly mobile ruckman who is big and strong and has got all the talents needed to excel at this level. I think this could be a Tim English year for him when he broke out. I think this is the year for Tristan. I can't wait to see what 2024 holds for him. And Nick Larkey, he's big, he's bold, he knows where the goals are. Savlaki is a nightmare for defenders. And this year, I think they're going to have a little bit more of the ball, better entries, another year in the Clarko system. Larkey will be the beneficiary of that. Port Adelaide will love our little interceptors here at Pommy and Oz. And Aaliyah is a player that I'm definitely looking at. Incredibly, incredibly gifted. And again, people have slept on him. Now Zerk Thatcher's there. He can play that lockdown role, but also play that intercept role. That frees up Aaliyah. And he's going to have a big one. Connor Rosie might be a cop-out here. I think Connor Rosie, Zach Butters went ahead of him, didn't he, this year? I feel like Connor Rosie is going to remind us of why he's incredibly good. Connor Rosie is definitely going to have a big year. And Mitch Giordaldis, everyone talks about Charlie Dixon. Who's the next guy that's going to kick up a gear from him? Mitch is incredible. The big Greek freak he is. He's big, he's strong, he's very mobile. This is the year. This is the year for him. Richmond up next, Sammy Banks. People forget about Sam Banks, and so be it. But this is really the best opportunity in this. Works incredibly hard forward and behind the ball. Cam McIntosh has been a staple of doing that. It's ready-made for him. He's a ready-made replacement. I really like what Sam brings, especially his second and third efforts. He frees himself up, invariably plays that give and go. This is a real big opportunity in the kind of redevelopment of them. Josh Gibcus is up next. I love this kid. And you know what? Working with Tom Lynch, this is the time for him. This is the time, 196 of him, 88 kegs, to really go up a gear in 2024. And then Tom Lynch, we talked about him in the Gibcus, missed most of the year with injury. He's going to be the main man there. Look out. Big, big scores from him. Jack Hayes, people forget with St Kilda, I don't think they ever had their best 22 on the ground. And Jack Hayes, incredible footballer. Whether he's pinch hitting in the ruck or he's playing forward, Jack Hayes has got it all. Perfect foil for Max King. I think he'll take his place back in that side. Matheus Phillipou, on the precipice probably of signing a big contract. Get a year in the system. He's really redeveloped his game. There's no one, I think, in the league with his intensity and his drive to improve. Matheus is going to go up a level, and no one's seen Ollie Houghton yet. Dan Butler, replacement, inbound. This kid can do it all. I'm really excited about seeing big Ollie Houghton in the bigs. Braden Campbell. Sydney have got a lot of youth that we haven't seen a lot of, and Braden Campbell is really the Bloods culture through and through. Works really, really hard and intense. Does the team thing. Braden Campbell is one I'm watching, along with Logan McDonald. Nobody this year. They're looking for a key forward to really take it over. Logan McDonald's year is this year, and there'll be a lot of big offers coming his way. And Angus Sheldrick, I love his work. Forward of the ground, in the midfield, out wide. Real accumulator of the ball. Real hungry. Angus is going to have a big year for them. Matty Flynn, no Nick Nat. He's left GWS. He's the main man up at West Coast Eagles. I think it's a mistake GWS lost him. He's going to have a real solid year. We can't wait to see Harley Reid. Pick one. He's everything that West Coast will just make you smile. Some of the things, being a Carlton fan, when you're the bottom two sides, you really are looking for something. Harley Reid's going to bring you that magic. And Oscar Allen, incredibly stiff last year not to get more plaudits, I thought. He's going to give you more plaudits this year. He is an incredible talent, and I think he's going to go up a level. And we finish with the Doggies. I feel like they're going to have a real tough year, but Sam Darcy's going to be one of the highlights, the father-son. They have to go with their youth now. They've got a lot of them. The time is now. The time is now for Darcy. And Charlie Clark, they haven't seen yet. This guy is a goal poacher. They need a picket. I feel like they need a picket there, and I feel like Charlie Clark could be that guy. And Caleb Poulter, second chance. This year, I feel like he's going to make Collingwood regret letting him go. An incredible player. And they are my three. Let me know who are the 3 ones to watch from your team. Much love, everyone. Merry Christmas. See you soon. Peace, love, and light. I'm out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad.